Ever since WoW's inception, and even before then during the Warcraft RTS era, pop culture references have been a staple of content on Azeroth, from NPCs and items referring to other video games to TV shows, songs, movies, literature, and much more. These hints really convey how strongly nerd culture influenced the game and its development, a testament to the dozens of developers each wanting to sneak homages to their favorite bits of entertainment into the franchise. It's a cool part of the game when done tastefully, and in Classic most of the references are done really well and don't detract from the overall game. They're subtle, yet humorous for those in the know. There are quite literally hundreds of them to find, but today, I want to cover one of the most famous and beloved clusters of references that all center around one quest line and one video game series. The Legend of Zelda franchise developed by Nintendo. I want to present the story in full, but considering there's so many references embedded in here, I'll cover as many of those as I was able to find too. I have never played a Zelda game before, so if I miss anything, I'm counting on those of you who are fans to kindly add to the discussion down in the comments. This is Linken's Journey, Classic WoW's Legend of Zelda adventure that is one of the questing highlights as you approach max level. As always, thank you for the fun comments and support, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. Today's adventure begins in Un'Goro Crater, the primordial jungle where dinosaurs roam, and ancient life has flourished nearly untouched for tens of thousands of years. You'll probably venture here in your early level 50s for one reason or another, maybe to investigate the rise of the Silithid, or to seek out some volcanic soil, but regardless, the first area you'll visit is the marshlands, an expanse of swampy pools patrolled by raptors and other beasts. It's not easy to locate, but you may just find a wrecked raft on the edge of one of these pools. It's a rather nonsensical place for a raft, but the quest text does give us a possible answer and starts us on our investigation. A destroyed raft rests along the shoreline. Considering this is only a small pond, it is not clear as to how it ended up here, although looking at the trees tells you that the water level may not be constant. Perhaps a little exploration in the area might uncover more clues. Already, there's a Zelda reference to explain here. The first few steps in this quest chain are titled, "It's a Secret to Everybody," which is a famous phrase from the franchise originating in the first game, when secret moblin characters in hidden caves say it to the player. Your first task is to look around the area, and on the bottom of the small pond is a waterlogged pack. Inside, you find a number of important items that must be delivered to their owner once you find them. You find a compass that always points toward the center of Un'Goro, a map, and a lion-headed key, 3 items that are analogous to those found in Zelda games, notably the magical key from the original game. There are also 2 items that you do not need to turn in to complete the quest, a few heavy throwing daggers, and a faded photograph. The quest suggests you check out Marshall's refuge in the north for signs of the raft's owner, and it's here where we meet the star of the show, Linken, a gnome undoubtedly styled after Link, the protagonist of the Zelda games. Looking at the faded photograph confirms this is our lost hero. It shows Linken and a female gnome dressed as Princess Zelda in Stormwind City, and I find this to be one of the coolest references, as it's one of the few times in Classic that a readable item renders an image rather than just words on a page. Here's what Linken has to say when you deliver the supplies. "You see, I have no idea how I ended up here. No one really knows. It's a secret to everybody. I just can't seem to remember anything. These items you brought to me though, I am remembering something. My sword. I am supposed to strengthen it somehow, but I'm really not sure why. Sorry I can't tell you more, but I just don't remember. Anywho, I do know where you can take it. Dawn of a Snowdin in Winter Spring." With this new bit of context, we can connect this story to another Zelda game, Link's Awakening, a sort of black sheep in the franchise in which Link is washed ashore in an unfamiliar land and has lost his memory. Now it seems here on Azeroth you're going to help Linken deal with a rather similar adventure. Once you accept this next part of the quest, Linken will have more gossip text options that are also Zelda references. "A long time ago, during my travels, I met a man that told me, 'Master using it and you can have this. What do you suppose that means?' Does my name sound familiar to you? Maybe we knew each other a long time ago. I think I'm named after someone important. I remembered something that I once was told. Go up the mountain ahead, said the voice in my head. Listening to it is how I ended up here. Winter Spring is far away, far to the north, and this may be the first time you're asked to travel up here on your leveling journey. If you've seen my videos on Mount Hyjal and or Timbermaw Hold, you'll know getting up here isn't easy and involves a reputation grind to gain access to the zone, but it certainly makes the trek feel earned. Donovan Snowden is a dwarf found at the Frostfire Hot Springs, and once you give her Linken's practice sword, she proceeds to walk down to the water and throw the sword into the hot springs to upgrade it, which is a reference to the fairy springs in Zelda. The sword's journey is not yet complete though, and Donovan wants you to bring her a Vidir elixir to help find the person who can help you upgrade it further. You're sent to the wilds of Northern Fairless, where an alchemist named Gregan Brewspewer offers a quest to help create the elixir. He just needs a rare herb called an Evo root. This is one of the very few examples of a quest within a quest in vanilla WoW. Gregan's quest must be completed while you're on Donovan's quest, and completing it means you now have the elixir to bring back to her. To acquire an Evo root, simply buy a piece of bait from Gregan and place it in front of the Null Miblin Snarltooth guarding the ruins to the north. He'll get distracted, and the nearby wall disappears, allowing you to slip inside the garden and grab the herb. This is a callback to the Moblin enemies from Zelda, and specifically one case where you have to feed some ham to one of them to gain access to a dungeon. You can also just parkour up and around the building on the northern side, if you're feeling rebellious. With the Vidir elixir crafted, you can return to Donovan for the next step of the adventure, who explains, "This elixir will allow you to speak with one that you would not normally even see. Take the Vidir elixir, along with Linken's sword, to the graveyard just outside Gadgetzan and Tanaris. Once there, drink the potion. You may be quite surprised at the results, but do not be alarmed. In your other form, head due north until you reach the mountains. You'll find the one you need to speak with in one of the rocky crevices. His name is Garion. Remember, he will only speak to you in that form." This is definitely one of the strangest and most memorable parts of the entire quest line. At the Gadgetzan graveyard, you can drink the potion, which kills your character instantly. This caused quite a few broken hearts when the hardcore movement first started, but luckily the quest was modified on official hardcore servers to instead take away 99% of your health and give you a buff to see into the spirit world. Once dead or close to being dead, you can head north into the mountains to find the ghost of Garion, who tells you to look in the graveyard for a particular gravestone that hides important secrets. This is likely a reference to the first Zelda game, when the old woman tells Link to meet an old man at a graveyard, which is pretty much what you're doing here. You push on the stone firmly, and it slides away, revealing a small depression underneath it. Placing Linken's sword into the depression, you realize that it fits perfectly. Some sort of enchantment takes place, and Linken's tempered sword is upgraded further into Linken's superior sword. You deliver it back to him, who now just needs to find out why he was sent here in the first place. You speak with J.D. Colley, another gnome who's in the back of the cave at Marshall's Refuge and is studying the crystal formations here. She spoke with Linken when he first arrived, disoriented, and she discerned Linken was supposed to craft an important totem with the help of someone named Eridan Bluewind, a night elf up in Fellwood. This begins the second half of the quest chain, and the second trip away from Ungoro. You may have worked with Eridan before while leveling in Fellwood, and she can be found at the Emerald Sanctuary at the southern end of the zone. She explains the following. "I do not know the one you speak of, but worry not. If your friend was on a journey to find me, I do know what it was he desired. In the heart of Ungoro Crater dwells evil of the purest form. This evil takes the shape of an elemental called Blaze Runner, protected by an aura that none can dispel. None, except those with enough power to do so. I can teach you of this power." Now we know what we're up against. A powerful fire elemental disturbing the volcanic ridge of Ungoro. You fetch some items from the local creatures of Fellwood, and are then sent back to Tanaris, where you can summon a water elemental powerful enough to enchant the item into a totem. Aquamentus is summoned at the Circle of Stones just south of Lost Rigger Cove on the coastline, and while the items are enchanted in the process, you'll also have an angry elemental to contend with. Aquamentus is, unsurprisingly, another Zelda reference, this time to the very first boss in the original game, Aquamentus. You return to JD, who tells you she knows of the threat posed by Blaze Runner, and has even heard tales of adventurers perishing after being knocked off the ridge, a clever reference to the boss's Blast Wave knockback ability. You report to Linken and fill him in on all you've learned, and this is what he says. I finally remember now. I did come here to fight Blaze Runner. I was on a journey, and this was to be the last step. But I am no longer the hero. You are. All that you have done, you must finish this now, not me. Blaze Runner guards an artifact called the Golden Flame. It provides power more vast than anything else I have ever known, and it is dangerous in the hands of one with an evil heart. You will want to bring others with you. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this as my advice. This advice is another iconic Zelda phrase, given to Link by the old man at the beginning of the game. The final mission is to defeat Blaze Runner, along with an ally or two to help out, and the enchanted totem, which can weaken Blaze Runner's aura for a short time, and allow you to get some hits in. This can be a difficult quest even with friends, as managing the totem brings a whole new dimension to the fight. But with any luck, Blaze Runner is extinguished, and you can recover the Golden Flame, an item that looks suspiciously like the Golden Triforce icon from Zelda. Linken appreciates all your hard work helping him on his mission, telling you the Golden Flame will be returned to his homeland for safekeeping, and even offers 3 rewards that are all references to Zelda items: Linken's Sword of Mastery, the Spirit of Aquamentus Magical Scepter, and Linken's Boomerang. The legend of Linken has been told at last, and that's all we ever learn about our gnome friend and his adventure. There are a few other references to find here at Marshall's Refuge as well, such as the Kodo Didanga, who is a reference to the Dodongo mobs in Zelda, as well as the 2 NPCs Muigen and Larian, obvious references to the Nintendo characters Mario and Luigi. Ungoro Crater is also based on the 70s TV show Land of the Lost, including Marshall's Refuge as a callback to the characters in the show. The more you know. To end on today, I want to address how Linken fits into the canon of WoW, and if his story should even be taken seriously. Is he some sort of secret operative for the Cenarian Circle? A bounty hunter from Stormwind sent to find an artifact stolen from the city vault? A member of a tribe of gnomes that is actually from a land far away? Or is he actually a citizen of Morogh, tasked with recovering a mythical power source for the good of gnomish engineering? I think the most likely explanation is that he's just a Zelda reference through and through, and theory crafting isn't going to get us anywhere, but it is still fun to talk about. The one real question I still have is, where is Princess Zelda? She was photographed in the image alongside Linken, but she doesn't seem to exist in the game, or even in the game files. It's a mystery, and until we learn more, I guess there's only one thing for us to say. It's a secret to everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I had a lot of fun making this episode and learning a bit about Zelda for the first time, and whether you're a fan or not, I hope you learned something new today. Quest lines in WoW with a ton of references are sometimes seen as overdoing it, and aren't liked by the player base, but this one is often seen as iconic, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments. A special thank you to my rapidly growing number of channel members who provide bonus support for these videos. And until next time, may the Force be with you.